Hello everyone! Welcome to another video of me painting all the entries from Hunter's Journal. This time I'm taking a step back from Forgotten Crossroads palette to paint the little Lifeseed. It's still pretty blue, but at least it's a different shade of blue. To be honest, I was tired of painting with the same color palette, so this was a nice change, a breath of fresh air. So I decided to place Lifeseed amongst the Forgotten Crossroads entries, as I've mentioned way back when I posted the sketch for it. A bit of a controversial approach, but hear me out. Lifeseeds can be found everywhere in Hallownest, so any area would technically be appropriate for them, since I'm painting the entries by which area they belong to. We first encounter this enemy in King's Pass, but this area is basically Forgotten Crossroads' little brother, with how identical they look. In fact, now that we are at it, can we talk about how this room is not an area in Forgotten Crossroads, but in Green Path? I know why I messed up, but at the same time, why did I mess up? I was so certain this room, even though we just exited Green Path to access it, belongs to Crossroads. I've spent hours meticulously planning all entries, before even beginning binding the journal. That's it. From now on, in my headcanon, this room belongs to Forgotten Crossroads. Anyways, back to Lifeseed. So, my reasoning for placing it here is that, for one, this is where we first encounter it, and second, it just feels right. It's hard to explain it. The only other place that I see it fitting is Abyss, due to the Lifeblood door, but surprisingly there are no Lifeseeds there. Okay, I think I've exhausted this topic. Let's move on. I started by painting the rocks surrounding the little Lifeseed a brighter blue. Same goes for the fossils? These giant curling rocks in the background. I had a lot of fun painting these, experimenting with bright blue highlights while maintaining the usual purplish blue shadows. I feel they are really glistening in the bright light. This is another painting where light plays a key role, and you may have noticed how much I love painting light. But this time I'm not doing any glazing. I am going to paint the effect that light has on the surrounding objects instead. Glazing is a great technique for painting transparent objects, adding soft light effects, and layering multiple colors to achieve depth. But I want to work on my color theory. And what better way than hand-picking and mixing the right colors to show how the light source changes the hues of existing colors. Those butterfly plants gave me a bit of a struggle. I usually don't like blending colors to a smooth gradient, but picking the right values instead to appear as if blended. Gouache dries really fast, and even applying two colors at the same time and blending, I don't know, it just feels weird. This probably reflects my level of inexperience, but in any case, I wanted to achieve a smoothness for these butterflies. So I've spent more time really blending these, and I think the result was worth it. Oh, by the way, on my previous drawing video, when I talked about the progression path through Hallownest and at which point the game stops being linear, I was wrong. Apparently, you can enter different areas much earlier in the game. I'm putting a lot of effort and research behind each video, not only the Hunter Journal ones, but I'm bound to make mistakes, so you're welcome to kindly correct me in the comments, and I'll address each issue in the next video. As you will later see in the sketches, I didn't feel the need to mention the lifeblood cocoons the little seeds come from. I'm basically having one as the centerpiece of this drawing, but also, eggs and cocoons are pretty common in the bug world. So I guess that's the reason Hunter doesn't mention it. It would be a common sight for a bug. Though I do wonder who made these cocoons. I need to brush up on my mossback lore. Speaking of cocoons, I loved painting this one. I'm saying that about every part of this drawing actually. But after a long break, I'm always filled with more artistic energy and have more fun painting. Though I did felt like I was limited by my colors. I mostly used this primary blue, along with my Himi Gouache set. But I think I'm going to purchase a tube or two of more vibrant blues. with the help of my Patreons and YouTube members. You can join them if you want. I post early updates of my drawings and projects, as well as more in-length vlogs on my Patreon page. I also added these tiny webs or cracks that to me make the cocoon more alive and organic, and also bubbles suspended in the liquid. As I was finishing the painting part of this entry, I decided to add some more fossils blending into the dark background to show how the feathered butterfly's glow affects the area. It was definitely the right choice, as this little detail added more depth to the painting. Looking back to it, I wish I did the same with the stalactites on the ceiling, adding some darker ones further in the background, cause the top section seems a little bit empty. Now let's move on to the sketches. I like to keep my sketches black and white, as if Hunter made a quick sketch to accompany the elaborate paintings. Or maybe Little Ghost is making the paintings? Ha! Wouldn't it be funny if that's the case and Hornet also makes the paintings in Silksong's version of Hunter's journal due to some artistic vein in the family being passed down? You know, because they are half siblings. I think I quite like this theory. Hunter does tell us that his words will make sense the more enemies we vanish. So imagine Little Ghost having to make sense of a small text and a few quick sketches before completing an entry by painting it. I'd love to see your theories in the comments, as well as your suggestions about this series. Should I change or add anything to my scripts or my editing style? As I was saying, I like the graphite look of my sketches, but for the Lifeseed entry I felt that adding color was only right. In hindsight, I should have done the same with the infection, as some of you suggested back then in my shorts. As for the sketches themselves, I decided to emphasize the taboo surrounding lifeblood by having Hunter reaching out to try some for himself, but hesitating, and of course show how the liquid inside the seeds makes you stronger. Though Hunter does mention that it has healthful properties, so I just showed the real effect those bugs have, adding an extra blue mask to the regular ones. It's quite confusing to me what strength and health mean in regards to the masks and soul mechanics of the game. I'm still trying to figure out the right way to express these concepts. To paint the blue parts of the sketches, I used these acrylic markers by Artex, not sponsored, but I would love to, just saying, that you guys helped me pick through a poll. Thank you for helping me decide. I love including you in my projects, so I'll make sure to have more polls whenever possible. The markers were up against color pencils, and I have to say, the acrylic markers are indeed much more vibrant and a better color match, though I did use a few colored pencils mostly for outlining. Even though Hunter's hand is decent, I feel that I completely messed up the proportions in comparison to the Lifeseed. Hunter is a big bug, and Little Ghost can fit in the palm of his hand. Lifeseeds are no bigger than Little Ghost, so the seeds should be at least half the size of Hunter's palm, not the other way around. Alas, the message of the picture is clear, so I'll let this one slide. Now I'm going to write the text and outline the sketch bubbles, after I've cleaned the cap of the black ink I'm using. And with that, Lifeseed is done! I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed painting and making it, and thanks again to my Patreons for supporting me. See you on the next one!